Steph, a man of many talents, a busy man, so what are you busy with at the moment?
I've just had the San Miguel advert released. Obviously it goes general release in a couple of months, but I think it's out in Spain already. That was great fun to do. Got to be a completely different person to what I usually do on film. I've just been handed a big role in a punk rock opera called Borstal Boy, down in Portsmouth at the King's Theatre, which goes out on April the 26th, so I'm busy learning scripts. And I've got a World Cup single coming out with Gary Bushell, massive video shoot, got loads of celebs coming in on that, obviously via Gary and a couple that I know myself, over 150 extras in that, and it's all looking good, and obviously with a few film releases.
So what do you feel you are primarily? Are you an actor or a singer or an all-round man?
I would say primarily I was a singer because I've been doing that since I was at school. I did a couple of small roles. I was in Pink Floyd Film The Wall in 1982, just in one scene where they're all in the Odeon doing a dance with Bob Geldof. Done a couple of Football Hooligans in the early noughties, then kind of went back to music. And about a year and a half ago got into Green Street 3 and met a load of people there, agents and things. And I haven't stopped. I've done about 30 films this year already, like some small parts and some big main roles and speaking parts.
So maybe the 18-year-old plus people, young people in Harbour, how do you get into that? How do you become, whether it's an extra or a minor role or whatever you do, how do you get into all that?
I got lucky because I've done music for so long. I know a lot of people in like both businesses, and obviously through know people like Gary Bushell, and I'm also good friends with people like Jason Mazza, who's got me in a lot of films, so I've got to give him a mention kind of thing. But the best way to do it is just look through online. You can join agencies like Star now for like £35 a year, but then they throw the audition film, everything that's coming up. You just apply for what you want to go for, and then it's all about networking. You just go on and chat to directors, chat to the actors, and just don't make a fool of yourself, and do as you're told and do your job.
So let's go right back before we go to 2014 again.
Okay.
What your school days? What was your love of music?
Punk primarily. Susie and the Banshees mostly, because I came through the very early punk because I'm having two older brothers. My first gig was my brother smuggling me into a gig, and it turned out, it was just noise to me at the time because I was like 12, 13 years old. Turned out it was The Clash, Adam and the Ants, Susie and the Banshees at the Triad Club in Bishop Stortford, 1978. And that just blew my mind away, seeing a woman on stage doing what they were all doing. That just blew me. And then about 2 weeks later, I saw Hong Kong Garden on Top of the Pops, and that was me. I was sold. So.
And you love that music.
Yeah.
Did you go on to play music at that point, or what was your?
It was another year and a half. 1979, I got my first ever punk band, the Obscene Toys. I think we'd done about 3 gigs, about 4 paper interviews, and called it a day. But punk had changed by the time we called it a day. It was 1982, 1983, and punk had become what I class as very heavy political and stuff that I just didn't want to get into. You had some severe right-wing, left-wing stuff coming in. Music was meant to be fun, it's meant to be entertaining. Musicians, to me, shouldn't preach. They should entertain people the same as actors should do. Politicians can bugger up the country quite well enough on their own, They don't need us to do that. So I got a bit disillusioned, so I took some time out from that, and then a mate introduced me to King Kurt, Psychobilly, and never looked back after that.
Was that the band in which you can get your hair cut on stage or something like that?
You could do all sorts of things on stage for that band, believe me. So now we've had done some serious drinking sessions with those lads, proper. So that's all good.
Good. And to go right up to date, so something like the World Cup single, how's that come about?
Started off as a joke. Me and my bass player Tim, just sitting like trolling through ideas. And he said that he'd come up with a format for a World Cup song. Would I be interested in actually putting it out? So I was like, yeah, I'll go for that. But obviously we wanted to do it as a duet. And with Gary being a close friend, it was like the obvious choice was Gary because he's as daft as a brush anyway. So he came on board, and I say I was going to actually forget the whole thing because my band, the Noxious Toys, split up, which is how we were going to put it out. And it was only about 3 weeks ago I thought I've got to put something out because a lot of people kept asking what I was doing musically. And I was going to take a 2-year break from music to work on the acting. And I thought, I've got a World Cup song sitting there, we might as well get that out for a bit of a joke, see how far it goes, and it seems to have gone a bit stratospheric at the minute, so it's...
And the music? Your band's still playing?
No, the toys, the Noxious toys are now finished. We split up last year through one reason or another. But I'm still doing a few solo projects, but I will not physically put a live band back together for at least a couple of years. So, because I've got too much filming going on now. And
so the stuff down in Portsmouth, tell us a bit about how that came about.
The director, David Clark, got chatting to him, just asked him if there was anything going on it, because it sounded like a fun project, and obviously because it was punk based. And he just said that he wanted me to play a 20-year-old mod to start with, so I was like, okay, I'll go for that, give it a go. And we got chatting on the phone, and he seemed to think that with my voice being plain and almost John Lydon-ish, that I could do the narration, because he wants somebody who can be very flamboyant, very kind of camp sort of thing, like Richard O'Brien. So I'm doing the Master of Ceremonies narration part, but I'm on stage like the ghost the whole time, and I even get into like parts where I'm communicating with the main actors. So it's all kind of comical, but very a kind of dark and gritty story. So it looks like it's going to be fun to do.
But do you enjoy what you're doing?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, even like days off, if I get days off, just sitting and going through scripts and things, just because I very rarely get to go through a whole script, because obviously working so much. So when I do, and it's nice to see what's actually coming up rather than just get on the set and learn your lines there and then. So yeah, no, this one it looks very entertaining. I've had a lot of inquiries about all the runs I'm doing, the half marathons. I've got 3 half marathons, the Great North Run, the Great South Run, and the one in Brentwood in a couple of weeks, which I'm doing as a zombie, which ties up nicely with the film that I've got coming out, Welcome to Essex, which is a big zombie apocalyptic horror film. But I've got my friend Nicola, she's coming down, she's going to do the full makeup, full zombie makeup, and I've got to run 13 miles as a zombie. But whether I'll actually do it running as a zombie, but by the end of it I probably will be. So I just thought I'd get that in, and that's all for cancer research. This one's for the Bobby Moore Fund. Then I'm doing one for cancer research, doing 2 for dyslexia action, and one of those is also the London to Southend bike ride. So I've got all in all 5 big charity health kicks coming up.
And how can people find you? Is it on Just Giving?
On Just Giving, yeah, just go Just Giving Stief, or on my Facebook. If people get me on my Facebook, I've got a professional page and a personal page. Just join me on whatever one. The pages are all up there, and the more we raise, the more difference we make to people's lives, and hopefully the more lives we can save with the more funds we raise. So all good.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.